Can you talk about making the music together and how much time was spent?
I did. I'm not dumb, so I have a number of friends in rock and roll. I have a few famous friends in rock and roll: Dave Grohl, Greg Dooley, and Joan Jett. Greg Dooley is a really close friend of mine. He's the lead singer and the songwriter for the Afghan Wigs. A very talented guy. So I called in my acting chits with them first to say, I need you guys to come in and maybe do something for this series. And you have to work around their touring schedule. And then I knew I could get Greg if I could convince him about what I needed. I could probably get him for a week right before the Afghan Wigs were doing this reunion tour. So I took all the old Heathen songs and gave them to Greg Dooley. And we went in with the Afghan Wigs essentially, minus their bass player who was spending time with his family. And they took the songs and basically turned them into what they are. And then when we had to go in with Liz's character and the modern day songs, I took our tech advisors, which are guys from my comedy band, but they're all professional musicians, great session guys, very well-known players. Ozzy Osbourne's band, the Jim Carroll band, the Del Fuegos, I mean, their credits, Raging Slab, they're all great. We went to Electric Lady, took a week or 8 days with Dooley and me and the Wigs, did all the early stuff.
Then 2 weeks with us.
It's about 3.5 actually.
Really?
So 3.5 weeks with those guys and Liz to do all the modern day stuff. And then some of the comedy stuff, Radiohead to Morrissey, which is one of the episodes, we just did that live on the set, but we improv'd it a little bit in the studio space. And then there's some songs that I farmed out. I farmed out a song to my son that's an EDM song. Because I don't know a lot about EDM, but we wanted to do an EDM episode later in the season. So I gave it to him and had him come up with this EDM tune. And and there was a couple things. There's a good friend of mine who's co-wrote, the Asshole song with me named Chris Phillips. There's a plot in the show where the bass player writes this opus about the Irish potato famine. He writes a rock opera. So this Chris Phillips is kind of...
It's not a rock opera, it's a song cycle.
It's a song cycle. So I gave it to Chris Phillips and he wrote all of those songs.
They're great.
Yeah.
Last question, guys.
Jesus, I'm sorry, that was one question.
Okay, that was... Dennis, I just wanted to ask you, so I was a fan since you were starting your stand-up, and did you know that you were going to be such a successful actor, like, starting out? No.
I started in the theater at Emerson College in Boston, and I didn't really have any experience as an actor on film, because that was, I never thought of that until I got out. So once I started doing, once No Cure for Cancer became a hit and I started getting film offers, I was very lucky that I ran into some people and I said, I need an acting coach, I need a little training. So I got saved by a couple people, which is good. And then, I had to learn that process. And I was also lucky because a couple of those people I met said, listen, get a production company, start generating stuff on your own, because when the phone stops ringing as an actor, you're either back on the road as a comedian or you're not working. So those are like the two key lessons I try to tell young actors is, even if you don't write, get a production company, start buying books, and start getting ready to self-generate them. So when the phone stops ringing, you have something in the hopper. Another boring answer. I'm so sorry. God,
No, not at all.
fuck am I boring? Jesus, sorry.
It's not boring.
Elizabeth, there's that scene with the Jonah complex.
Yes.
Do we see more of that kind of explanation of wisdom coming out of her?
She's very wise for her young age, and I think she does impart wisdom onto you, even though your character, even though is so much older. We have a lot of moments like that. We do. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We have our little talks.
Yeah, it's cool how it fumbles out of her.
It's hilarious to me that he would have seen that movie, The Squid and the Whale, and not like, but he has no idea about Jonah and the Whale, and has never heard of it. Like he's so limited in his knowledge. It's like, if it's not music related, he really doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah. But he does impart wisdom on her. It's like dual parenting, but it's not in the way that you, I guess, expect. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So you guys are obviously together.
Look at this.